10864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good. Deep to right field. At the warning track. See ya.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
At the buzzer.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Huge win for Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you. Welcome inside the Casanova Center. The Ducks on both the diamonds this weekend. Some success, some not as much success. We'll talk about that, talk about what it means for the, well, frankly, postseason, because we're here in the month of May. Meaningful softball and baseball being played in the month of May. Not that February and March and April aren't meaningful, but it just feels like it's the postseason now that we're into the month of May. We're going to talk about that coming up. Jordan Brenner's going to join us, talk a little baseball here in just a little while. Oregon softball coming off their regular season series finale against Stanford. We've got Coach Lombardi. We've got Stevie Hansen after a complete game shutout. Stevie Hansen, she was really good. She was really good this weekend. We're going to talk about that coming up. Also, Mike Jorgensen is going to join us. Part of a multi-show appearance from Mike Jorgensen, recapping spring football, looking ahead to the fall a little bit with Jorgie. And we're going to debate sauces. We're also going to talk women's tennis. We're going to talk a little track and field. And women's golf in the NCAA regionals. They are underway. And, well, let's just say that Brianna Chacon has done a really nice job. She fires an incredible 7 under 65, the best round of her career, and a new championship course record at the University of New Mexico. NCAA regional or an NCAA championship record. Pretty darn cool for Oregon women's golf. A solid round for the Ducks, starting to come to a close. We'll tell you about that over the course of the show today. Regionals for women's golf today, tomorrow, and then on Wednesday. A lot more coming up, but the Ducks, number 2 team in the country. They're the number 1 seed in Albuquerque, maybe on their way to a national championship. We'll find out. It could be. We'll find out. We'll find out. So let's talk a little bit of softball, though, to kick things off today before we talk baseball. On Friday, Stevie Hansen held Stanford to 5 hits. 2 of them were home runs. Number 22, Oregon, fell to Stanford 3-0 Friday night down in Palo Alto. Then on Saturday, the Ducks responded. They racked up 11 hits, matching the team's season best for a Pac-12 game. Beat the Cardinal 5-1 on Saturday to even the series. Tara McGowan led the Ducks with 3 hits, while 6 other Ducks had base hits in that Saturday game. And in the circle, McKenna Clee-Thermos won her second straight decision by allowing 1 run on 4 hits and 5 2/3, was backed by some elite air-free fielding behind her. And I mean, Paige Sinicki was excellent on Saturday. Sports Center! She made Sports Center, the shortstop running into shallow left field, diving catch. It was an awesome highlight, a great play from the Ducks, and yeah, the defense matters. Then on Sunday, Stevie Hansen threw a 5-hit shutout, and Allie Bunker homered to lead the Ducks past Stanford in the regular season finale. Hansen retired the last 8 batters she faced, improved to 13-8 on the season, and how about this? The first strikeout for Stevie Hansen didn't come until the 7th inning. Talk about letting your defense work. I thought that's what Stevie Hansen did, a really veteran approach using the good defense that the Ducks have. They've been consistently one of, if not the best teams defensively in the Pac-12. So the Ducks finished the regular season at 31-17 overall. They're 13, or I should say that Hansen is 13-8 on the season. And a big reason why Oregon went 10-14 in Pac-12 play. Selections for the 2022 NCAA tournament will be announced on May 15th. And I know you're looking at that and you're going, well, hey, what? Why is it so far from now? Normally we'd be breaking down a bracket if it was the regular season finale for the Ducks. Well, Unfortunately, the way that things stack up in the Pac-12 schedule, there's always one team that has their Pac-12 bye week during the conference slate at the end of the season. It just so happened with the rotation that the Ducks are going to have that this upcoming weekend. So the regular season is actually in the books for Oregon softball. The Ducks at 31-17, they're number 17 in the RPI, and in those Pac-12 standings as they come down the stretch, Arizona State is in first place at 18-3, then UCLA 16-5, Washington 13-8. There are only 3 teams above 500 in the Pac-12 this year for softball. Stanford went 9-12, Oregon went 10-14 in Pac-12 play, and then it's Cal behind them at 8-13. Technically speaking, Cal going to UCLA this weekend could jump Oregon for 5th place in the Pac-12 standings. I don't see it. UCLA is not going to get swept by Cal. I don't see it. Utah, technically speaking, could jump the Ducks. They could finish at 11-13. They're playing at Oregon State. Oregon State and Arizona are tied for last at 7-14. Could I see the Utes sweeping Oregon State? Maybe. But they're on the road. I don't know. I feel like Oregon's going to end up at 5th in the Pac-12. And, again, number 17 in the RPI. The Ducks have played one of the most difficult schedules in the country. In fact, heading into this past weekend, the Ducks had played the toughest schedule in the nation. I think that Oregon is probably at this point a 2 seed in an NCAA regional, and we'll see where, in fact, the Ducks end up. It's going to be a bye week for the Ducks. We will talk with Melissa Lombardi, Oregon softball head coach, live on the show tomorrow, and we will talk about what they're going to do this weekend. She said that they're going to go through probably some game situation and actually treat it like a series, but against themselves in some scrimmage scenarios at Jane Sanders Stadium this weekend. More on that coming up. Melissa Lombardi, though, she talked with the media. Well, really, she talked with our guy Greg Walker afterwards. He broke it all down, and I think Coach Lombardi, after a season-ending series win at Stanford, good stuff. Here's Coach Lombardi.
You knew runs were going to be at a premium. And Allie Bunker comes up, hits that home run in the 4th inning, and that really was a big momentum point in the game, wasn't it?
I thought it was really big. You know, she was 0-1, just got a changeup that she swung through and then came up and hit the bomb dead center. Also, too, love how Ariel got on, stole second. KK moved her to 3 with a ground ball to the right side with 2 strikes, and then Taya battled 2 strikes, hit the ball hard to the right side, and we were able to manufacture a run.
You got another manufactured run there in the 5th inning, and that was Rachel Sid coming through with a big 2-out base hit.
Clutch. That's Rachel Sid. That's what she's all about, is coming in and being clutch for us when we needed it. We needed that run. So just love seeing her come up, 2 outs and driving the ball.
Kind of crazy you think that was the last regular season game of the year, isn't it? What do you guys do between now and Selection Sunday, a week from today?
I think the big thing is it'll give us an opportunity to rest a little bit, to heal up in some areas where we need to heal up, and just take a breath for a second. Postseason is going to be crazy, so just to be able to take a breath for a second and then get ready to go.
And the last thing, winning 5 of the last 6 games, really kind of playing well at the right time of the year.
Yes, we are. We are peaking at the right time. You're seeing, we've been talking about all 3 cylinders now and wanting to see them fire, and you're continuing to see their 3 cylinders fire each game. So I'm proud of this group. I'm proud of their fight. I'm proud of their being students of the game. You could just see a lot of really, really good things happen this series, and I think we're in a great place.
Terrific. Thanks.
Greg Walker there, Sports Information Director for Oregon softball, talking with head coach Melissa Lombardi. We'll go more in-depth on the program tomorrow as the Ducks now get a chance to catch their breath. And Stevie Hansen, she was outstanding this weekend. Even in the loss on Friday, she was pretty darn good. I think that you're going to give up some home runs. It happens. But the way that she responded in that complete game shutout in the regular season finale, that's big. For someone who's so young, wasn't supposed to be the ace for this team. Remember, Brooke Yanez has been hurt all season. She was supposed to be learning from Brooke Yanez this year. Now she's channeling her inner Brooke Yanez. Stevie Hansen talking with Greg after the complete game shutout.
Stevie Hansen here, coming off a shutout of Stanford today. Stevie, great job on out in the circle today. What was working for you?
Thank you. And I feel like today a lot was just focusing on letting them mix in and out and throwing a little bit of change to get them a little off speed. Just definitely trying to throw off their timing.
Picking up the series win, finishing the regular season like that, what does that mean for the team?
I think it's just more of a push of like, okay, we've gotten through the first half, now let's push our way to the last half and hopefully make it to the last game of the season, make it to the World Series.
How much of a difference have the last 2 days been compared to that first day?
I think it was a total game changer for us. It just definitely, like, we all were finding out what we wanted to push through and what we wanted for the next couple of games here, and just the realization of this is our last weekend of PAC, so let's lay it all on the field, and I think we did a great job of doing that the last 2 days.
How much does it help you when you see Allie Bunker take one out, and then a couple runs that were manufactured throughout the game?
It's definitely a helper for pitching, just because it puts my mind at ease of like, oh no, like if they get on, like what's going to happen if they get a ball through or anything. I just know that they've got my back, and once we figured out this pitcher, they didn't let go. They didn't stop.
There you go. Good stuff from Stevie Hansen. Oregon softball winning their series at Stanford. Now they'll get ready for Selection Sunday in 6 days without games between now and then. Just feels weird. Really, really weird. When we come back, we're going to talk Oregon baseball. Jordan Brenner's here. We're going to hear from Mark Wazakowski, go through a few things from what was, a tough weekend in Oregon at Oregon State. We're going to talk about it after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
We are back in the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack, Jordan Brenner here with you. Between the two of us, we brought you all of the Oregon baseball losses this weekend.
Yeah, maybe we should start looking for a job, Joey.
Look, the broadcasts were on the air despite a 70-minute delay before the first pitch was thrown on Friday, and then an 18-minute delay in the bottom of the fourth inning on Friday, in which the Oregon offense struck out 17 times. The pitching staff walked 11 Beavers and hit a batter, and it felt like it could have been a lot worse than a 5-1 score. That's how I walked away from Friday as we go through things, and especially with those delays, it was like, man, this is weird. We did not do the team any favors, didn't do either team any favors with the way that the weather worked out. It is what it is. But I felt like on Friday, the fact that in the 7th inning, the Ducks had an opportunity to tie that game. They were down 3-1 at the time, and they didn't do it. And then the only extra base hit the entire night was the 2 RBI insurance run double that Gavin Logan hit late in that game. I felt like Friday, we'll start here. Friday was the example of Oregon is in every game, and they could have really stolen one in Corvallis. A season high in strikeouts at the plate and a season high in free passes issued, and it felt like they still could have won the game.
Yeah, I don't think that was the Beavers' best game on Friday. And I think Mark Wasikowski honestly put it better than anybody. He said, well, Oregon played their B-minus game. Well, in order to beat a team like the Beavers, if you're Oregon, you probably have to play your A-minus game to beat them. How many teams across the country have to play their A+++ game to beat a team like that? So I guess that's a positive way to spin it, but that set the tone for the series. There was a real shot, I thought, if Tanner Smith with 2 outs in that seventh inning, the bases were loaded. How many times has he come through in a position like that? Friday he didn't. Oregon lost.
Yeah, his average with runners in scoring position in his entire career is well over 300. Okay, so you were up there Saturday. I was emceeing the Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Saturday evening. So Jordan was up there, an 8-7 win. What'd you see?
There were a lot of positives. There were negatives. I think Oregon continued to walk the park.
Yeah, as Mark
on
Wasikowski always says.
Saturday, but a couple positives for me. Ryan Brown, the Beavers closer in the 9th inning. This guy hasn't given up a run entering Saturday since I think the 27th of March.
Jeez.
So it's been a little while. Brenner Malone gets the high inside heater, a pitch that nobody gets to. He hits it out of the ballpark. Makes it a 1-run game. Oregon enters the 9th down 3. They leave the 9th, they're down 1. They ran out of outs on Saturday, but I was encouraged by Anthony Hall, by Brennan Malone. I thought Jacob Walsh showed out quite nicely on Saturday. Oregon hit well enough to win that game, and again, there's only 27 outs in the game.
And what we saw on Saturday too was a change in that lineup. You saw the two lefties flip-flop spots where Anthony Hall moved up to the cleanup spot,
Right.
Jacob Walsh dropped down. I thought that continued into Sunday. I thought it worked out for the Ducks well.
I'd agree. I think Jacob Walsh, this is my opinion of Jacob Walsh, okay? You're not going to find a guy in this conference, maybe in the country, who is his age, who is that talented, right? But you're gonna face roadblocks in your freshman season, and we've seen that this week. On Tuesday, the midweek game against the Beavers, Jacob Walsh got the day off. Back in the 4-hole on Friday. Saturday, he hit 6th and did well, but I've seen this, and you've seen a lot more college baseball at this level, but I like to think I've seen a fair amount of collegiate diamond sports in my day.
And Summer League baseball.
And Summer League baseball.
I mean, that's very similar.
There are so many times where a freshman comes out hot, they go nuts the first month or two of the season, pitchers adjust, and then just as the postseason is coming around, that hitter, the talent just takes over. They turn it around, and they start a hot streak right when it matters. I think that could be what happens with Jacob Walsh, and Mark Wasikowski has talked about this all the time. It really, your seeding doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Get into the big dance. How well are you playing when the games matter? And, well, I think there's a case to be made for Oregon and Jacob Walsh to get going at the right time.
I agree with that. I think that it's interesting hearing because we say all the time, both Jordan and I, that we are just professional regurgitators, right? We talk with the coaches, we're around them, and then we just sort of put it back out into the ether, right? And that's kind of what we're doing because they all, the players, coaches have talked about that they needed to put a complete game together against a good team like Oregon State. Mark Wasikowski said it, more from him in a moment. I think that Jacob Walsh is a good kind of example of that, right? Like, there were at-bats where he looked really good. Then there were those strikeouts where you're going like, man, that's an adjustment maybe that needs to be made. And I thought that on Sunday, that's kind of how it was, a tough game. Two-run homers for the Beavers, the difference in a pitcher's duel. A 4-0 loss for the Ducks. And I'll be honest, Logan Mercado and Andrew Moziel were excellent. Absolutely outstanding. I mean, Logan Mercado retired all 5 batters he faced, the last 4 via the strikeout. The 5th was a sacrifice bunt. I mean, he didn't even get the chance to strike him out.
The bullpen continues to be a strength, and it's really rounding into form. Logan Mercado is such a bulldog. He's so competitive. He has such a feel for his mechanics where he can quick pitch a hitter, he can slow a hitter down, he can do whatever he wants. And Andrew Moziel is getting healthy now, and he's looking like last year's version of Andrew Moziel, which quite frankly was one of the clutchest relievers in the Pac-12. So that's good. Obviously, Colby Summers is back there. That's 3+ guys at the back end of your bullpen, Joey.
And what sucks is that we didn't see Colby Summers this weekend, right? Because they never got that opportunity for him. And I thought Jay Stoffel, he went 4, he gave up a 2-run homer, and here's where Mark Wasikowski talks about the complete game and how you have to fire, to borrow a phrase from Melissa Lombardi, on all 3 cylinders, okay? A walk, home run. Solo home run becomes a 2-run home run. A defensive error, an out, home run.
Right.
A solo home run because of an error becomes a 2-run home run.
Right. That was the difference, especially on Friday, where I believe Oregon gave up 5 runs, and 4 of the 5 runs that scored for the Beavers, they were walks.
Yeah, and it was very similar on Sunday. And so what we're getting at is that this is an Oregon team that I think is still putting together that complete game. They have not peaked yet. They still have a few weeks left in the season. And it sure does matter a lot because, well, look at the standings right now. So where we're at right now for the Ducks, they're at number 19 in the RPI. And you had an interesting number that you put together this morning.
Well, Oregon has 19 losses, which you look at, and there are probably some uninformed folks around the country that look at it and they say, well, Oregon has 19 losses. Why is their RPI so good? Well, it's the strength of schedule. Oregon played the number 1 team in the Big West. They've played the top 2 teams in the West Coast Conference. In non-conference games, they played the number 1 team in the Pac-12 2 times in Oregon State. So, 19 losses starts to add up. And I'm of the opinion, and we just talked about this, playing your best baseball at the right time when the postseason comes around. Well, how do you do that? You play the best quality opponents throughout the year. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And Oregon has been playing the best teams around the country. So I think those 19 losses make sense. It kind of punishes Oregon. If you look at some of those top 25 lists, the fact that they have played such stiff opponents throughout the year. But I think it will pay off when postseason baseball comes around here shortly.
I agree. He's Jordan Brenner joining us, and I want to talk a little bit about the Pac-12 standings because the way that it stacks up, Oregon State now at 18-6. Stanford is 15-9. They're 3 games back of Oregon State. Arizona is at 14-10. UCLA got swept in Seattle this weekend. UCLA is at 14-10 as well, tied for 3rd. And then it's the Ducks at 13-11. Well, prior to this weekend, the top 5 in the conference had really separated themselves. It was kind of OSU and then Stanford, Arizona, UCLA, Oregon, and then it was everybody else, right? Well, now suddenly,
here come the Sun Devils.
Right. Oregon's at 13-11. ASU's at 12-12. You know who Oregon's playing in the next Pac-12 series? It's Arizona State. Arizona State with a series win over the Ducks would jump them in the Pac-12 standings. So I think this is a critical week for the Ducks. They've got the Tritons of UC San Diego, a 2-game midweek set, Tuesday, 6 o'clock, Wednesday, 4 o'clock. And then Oregon has to go to Arizona State. And that's an Arizona State team that I would have liked to play in March rather than May.
Well, I think this is the perfect weekend to see the bats get going at the right time for Oregon. I mean, talk about a perfect place to hit. That's what you get down in the desert. That's going to be an amazing series with Arizona State. There's no doubt about it, but got to take care of business tomorrow and Wednesday. Certainly not a joke of opponent whatsoever with UC San Diego. Again, the non-conference opponents Oregon has faced all year long have been stiff, and that's not going to change tomorrow.
Yeah, UC San Diego is about a 500 team in conference play. And they're right around.
It's a good conference.
Yeah, they're right around 500 for their overall record too. Utah's at 10-14, Cal 11-16, along with Washington at 11-16. Then it's Washington State 9-15, and then by the way, USC 8-16. They just beat Arizona in a series. That's the Pac-12.
We saw the Trojans. I mean, they had some dudes on that club. That's for sure.
And everyone was like, well, the Ducks lost a series to Washington State. Well, USC, the basement dweller, just beat Arizona. I mean, that and Washington
just swept UCLA, who swept Oregon, who, beat Stanford in a series. This is a deep conference. I'm of the opinion that the Pac-12 is so good in baseball that you could get away putting all of these teams in the postseason, and I don't think anybody embarrasses themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I think that all of these teams are really good, and that's what we've seen. So what does this all mean for the Ducks? It means that they're still looking for better control on the mound. Got to limit walks. The bats, it'd be great to have the bats swinging it like they were in March and in the early parts of April. But the truth is that this is a team that has not yet peaked, and I think it's a team that still has a lot of potential in front of them, and they've played first, second, or third toughest schedule in the country, depending on which metrics you're looking at.
I've seen them first in multiple. It really depends on where you look, which is always hard in collegiate baseball. But
6 polls.
1 through 3, the common thing you'll see is Oregon's schedule is definitely widely respected.
Yeah. So now, where do they go from here? I think that you got to take care of business, to your point, on Tuesday and Wednesday. They got to then take care of business on the road. This is a tough week. I think we're going to know a lot about Oregon baseball when we have this conversation on Monday because, remember, they won at Gonzaga, a team that might be a regional host. That's how good Gonzaga is this year. The Zags play the Ducks at PK Park next Tuesday at 6 o'clock, and then it's Arizona at home to finish the regular season before the Pac-12 tournament.
Doesn't get any easier, does it?
No, and I think that's where we're going to learn a lot about this team, and so could they still host this is what's amazing. Could they still host a regional? Yeah, I actually think they could. Because think about this. Show the standings again if you could, Scott. If you look at the standings and you think about where it stacks up. Well, Oregon is a game back of Arizona. Say the Ducks go on the road, take care of business, win the series against Arizona State. UCLA's got a non-conference slate coming up. They might drop a game to Fullerton in a midweek.
I think that's possible.
And then you don't know. I mean,
San Francisco and Stanford. I mean, you could even see the Cardinals start dropping some games here as well.
And that's all midweek for those matchups, right? But Arizona and Oregon State are going to play each other this weekend. So say Arizona maybe loses to the Beavs, loses to the Ducks down the stretch. Maybe UCLA drops a series. Oregon could still finish, realistically, I think, second place in this conference. That might be a regional host.
Yeah, I could see it. And, how does Oregon get there, right? That's Jacob Walsh turning it around. That's Brennan Malone, who really showed signs at the end of this weekend of getting going.
The only Duck with
continuing
multiple hits
that,
on
right?
Sunday.
Hit that clutch bomb. That was his first hit of the series on Saturday. Anthony Hall's got to keep it going. Gavin Grant as well. The formula's there. Oregon's just got to get a couple hitters going, get to the back end of the bullpen, which I think is up there with any team in the conference. And you never know, folks. It's the
Pac-12.
You never know what the road to Omaha looks like, but I have seen roads as weird as this one.
Well, and I think that this is where I really feel like the conference is sort of evened out a little bit toward the end of the year. With 2 regular season weeks left, Oregon State could faceplant. There's no doubt about that. They've actually got OSU. They've got a tough schedule down the stretch. I mentioned that they're playing Stanford. The Beavs also, if I remember correctly, have a really tough opponent at the end of the season. Yeah, they got to play UCLA. They got to go to Arizona, and then they got to host UCLA. I mean, the Beavers, suddenly those games back, they shrink a little bit between first through 5th and 6th place. So the point is that we've got meaningful baseball in the month of May.
And that's what you want.
Yeah, meaningful baseball in the month of May. But the bullpen was good. We know that. Jay Stoffel, a career high in innings pitched. I thought he got better this weekend as he's continued to work his way back from injury, the Sunday starter for the Ducks. Mark Wasikowski, though, look, he said it. Got to play better. And the truth is, the Ducks can play better. We've seen it. So the formula's there down the stretch. But as you can imagine, Mark Wasikowski was, Coach Waz after the game.
I thought pieces of the bullpen pitched very well. Mercado came in, and I think first guy went sack bunt, recorded an out, and then the next 4 guys struck out. Then he came out of the game, and he handled the ton of Moziel, who pitched exceptionally well. There's plenty of bright spots, but in order to beat a team like Oregon State, you're going to really need to play your best game and a complete game. And we were able to play good games and not good enough. And that's really how it went.
Blunt. To the point.
That's what you want to see from your head coach. Yeah. There's no sugarcoating it. I mean, that's the standard. That's where Oregon is headed. Whether they get there this year, the next year, the year after that, I don't know. But there is a collision course with Omaha for this program.
Yeah, I think so too. Senior Class Award, by the way, an update. The finalists announced, we told you about it last week and throughout the weekend on the broadcast. Tanner Smith and Colby Summers are finalists for the Senior Class Award. Well, they need your help, folks. Go to seniorclassaward.com to vote because Tanner Smith's only got 6.3% of the vote and Colby Summers is at 3.2%. And it's a Beaver who's in first place. Mitchell Verberg at nearly 39% of the vote. Dominic Keegan from Vanderbilt at over 30% of the vote. So Tanner Smith and Colby Summers, the fan vote matters for about a third of the final ballot. Get in there. Vote for Tanner Smith and Colby Summers.
Is there a limit?
You can vote multiple times. I've been doing that.
Okay.
So
I know what I'm doing the rest of the day.
Thank you. Yeah. You just click on the I'm Not a Robot, and then you can just keep going. Go. All right. Senior Class Award. The Ducks need your help. When we come back, we're going to discuss something important. Sauce on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
What a tease.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece, and it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack along with Jordan Brenner here in the Country Financial Studio. Before we get to sauces, Oregon women's tennis, hey, a shout-out to a great season. They dropped a really close doubles point, battled all the way in singles before falling to number 18 Michigan in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Ducks finished the season at 15-9, made their first appearance in the NCAA tournament since 2018. That's part of our Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Man, Courtney Nagel, I'm really looking forward to doing a little bit of a season recap with her on Duck Insider because that was a very young team, freshmen at the number 1 and number 4 spots. I mean, yeah, they're going to be good.
Get ready.
They're going to be really good. Track and field paced by a 2-win outing for sophomore Jada Ross. Track and field team collected 6 wins at the Oregon Twilight on Friday. They celebrated the Hall of Fame class from 2020, which was essentially a track and field reunion for the 2010 indoor women's team that won a national title, began a run of the Ducks winning 5 straight and 7 of the next 8 indoor national championships. That was the standard setter in 2010. Focus now turns to postseason. It begins this week with the Pac-12 championships at Hayward Field. GoDucks.com/track tickets for you. So we had a debate on a broadcast earlier.
And now we have data.
Now we have data to back it up. Jordan is correct. So how many sauces would you want for a 4 chicken tender and French fry basket?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever the one person is that said they would take 0 sauces, I don't understand you. I mean, I understand. Like, some people were like, well, if it needs sauce, then it's not a good dish. Some things are designed for sauce.
Be careful what you say. This person might turn into a Beaver fan if you keep going after them.
Do you eat spaghetti without spaghetti sauce? It's called spaghetti sauce.
Some folks on the fringes of society enjoy a pasta with a butter, which is not a sauce.
That's a sauce.
Butter is not it.
Once it's
just
melted,
butter,
it is a sauce.
Wow. Some olive oil?
It's a sauce.
No.
It could be a salad dressing olive oil. Is that a sauce?
No, it's a dressing.
Is ranch a set dressing or a sauce? Dressing is a type of a sauce.
You got me there. Fine.
Okay.
Fine. I'll concede.
Thank you.
I'm just saying that person matters, and you were going after them.
I'm sure they are.
Maybe
I know our deputy athletic director's son, Eric's son, was
Thank you.
no, I don't like sauce, and I just that's fine. Their palates have not developed yet. They'll get there. But anyway, the question was, okay, so you have 4 chicken tender strips and fries. There's a lot of fries in these baskets at PK Park. The majority of people at 41.6% said that they would have 1 to 2 sauces.
So the majority of let's clarify this, because Joey declared victory. I don't remember. Joey said he talked to everybody in the press box, all the beat reporters, all the student managers.
Everyone said at least 3, most likely 4.
Right. So they said that. Joey went on air, declared victory.
Yes.
And then posted a Twitter poll.
Yes. And I'm still right.
Doug has come out and disagreed with you.
No, I disagree
with that. And I
with
think
that.
you need to publicly
here is what the data
retract
says.
your victory.
Here's what the data says, that 41.6% of people would take 1 to 2 sauces. Now,
well, you're in the 4+ camp. I don't know why you're changing your stance.
I'm in 4 or 4+.
4
or more.
So that's only 22%.
That's correct. But 35.4% of people say that they want 3 sauces.
You are changing the goalposts on your argument.
I disagree. I disagree with that, because that means that 57.4% of people would have 3 or more.
You are playing football at PK Park right now. You are changing the field of play. You are moving the goalposts over to PK Park, and you are deciding that the people who voted 3 are on your side. And
yes,
no, they're not. No, I don't think they are. I think Joey initially came out strong on the 4+. Joey walks in with 9, 10, 11 sauces on the first day. And then he says 4+, and now he's included.
Look, here's what I get when I get this exact basket at PK Park. All right, I get 2 barbecues and 2 ranches, or 3 barbecues and 1 ranch. That's what I prefer.
You get 3 barbecues, 2 ranches, and then 5 ketchups, which is a sauce.
And that's a sauce too. So I am definitely 4+. You never want to run out of sauce.
Yeah, God forbid you have to walk back.
You and I can't do that. We're on the air.
Commercial breaks
are a minute long.
Right. And then my innings.
I can't get down there that fast.
Fine.
I don't want to miss the action.
Maybe you used to.
No, not when I was your age.
Really?
No, I was never in that good a shape.
Okay.
I'd have to literally jump out of the press box window to get down there in time.
Maybe they should add a ladder for you.
I've always wanted like a firefighter pole. That would be fun, Anyway, he's Jordan Brenner, and he's wrong. How's the women's golf team going to do, you think?
Well,
Jordan got the chance to go out to watch the Pac-12 championship winning round, which was pretty darn cool.
It was a moment. Anybody who Joey, you weren't able to go, but
yeah,
there were a lot of big faces there. I'm sure there's pressure with that big crowd, and they channeled that energy and just dominated the last 2 days, and it was really cool to see. I don't know why they can't win the thing. I think they're good enough.
I think
why
they
not?
are too. I really think that they are too. I'm really looking forward to following them. So you can follow along on social media, of course, and on GolfStat. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're out in Albuquerque. Today's the first round, and the Ducks, they're finishing strong. We'll leave it at that. I'm going to get a timeout. When we come back, I did not ask Mike Jorgensen his thoughts on the sauces. I probably should have. Jorgie would have had an opinion. What would Jorgie have
Sounds
said?
like the first segment of the Oregon-Georgia football game.
Oh, God. I think we've got Duck Insiders between
probably.
now. Tobias says that he has hot sauce in his glove box just in case of emergencies. I
respect that.
I support that decision. I'm Joey Mack, and I endorse your sauce usage. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer starts here at your local Toyota dealer. Come in for huge savings on great Toyotas, like the adventurous RAV4, the sleek Venza, and the Ruby Highlander. For more information, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Summer starts here at your local Toyota dealer. Come in for huge savings on great Toyotas, like the adventurous RAV4, the sleek Venza, and the Ruby Highlander. For more information, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/one small step. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. As part of a multi-show appearance for Mike Jorgensen, we talked a little bit with him last week about his thoughts on some products, the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies that are now in the books. We'll have some interviews for you from those ceremonies coming up over the next couple weeks, actually, on the show. Scott has been going through the ceremonies all morning. They're intense. There's a lot of great stuff there that we're going to have for you coming up. Mike Jorgensen, though, we talked with him beginning with the offense, just about his thoughts on the spring game and looking ahead to the fall a little bit for Oregon football with Jorgie. Mike Jorgensen with us. Jorgie, I haven't got a chance to talk with you since the spring game. So tell fans about your impressions from the spring game. It's one of a few practices that you saw. It's the one that all the fans saw. What were your takeaways?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that's what I reminded people before we even got to the game, is it's one of 15 practices. So keep that in mind. And even more so, they split the teams. So you really don't have a true first offense going against the first defense. But, you know, I like what I saw just because, number one, offensively, it's going to be wide open, doing a lot of things, putting athletes in space, just like Kenny Dillingham said it would be. It's what we saw from the very first play throughout the scrimmage. And to be able to put those athletes, whether it be receivers, slot receivers, running backs, the quarterbacks putting the ball on the money, some athletic quarterbacks, you know, from a standpoint of all three of them being able to do things with their arm and with their legs, I think is pretty important. And then a defense, frankly, I think is going to be really good, not only from the standpoint of who they return, but some of the transfers that they've gotten in and who has developed from one year to the next. I really look forward to that defense playing. So without going into any individual players particularly, that's what I liked about it, is I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And, you know, they're going to have a challenge. There's no doubt about it with the first 2, 3, 4 games next year. It's going to be a big-time challenge, so they better be ready.
How big was it that the team, though, has the depth to be able to split squads like that, Jorgie? There's been times where it's just offense versus defense in a spring game, and you're coming up with a weird scoring system. It made it a little more fun for fans, I think.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, there were some key guys that sat out.
Yeah.
You know that as well as I do, you know, whether it be Forsyth on the offensive side of the ball or Dorless and some others on the defensive side of the ball, Flo. I mean, there were a lot of guys, key people that didn't play that would just supplement that. But, you know, to be able to have that depth. And there were some guys that played on both teams throughout the game, even, you know, Butterfield at quarterbacks played part of his with the green and part of it with the yellow and at the center position and some things like that. But, you know, you do have some depth to be able to do things, and that really counts. And it's going to go a long ways when the 2022 season gets here, because inevitably you're going to have to call on that depth, and you've got to have quality depth at the key positions, at all positions, to be able to compete through a 12-game season.
Break down the quarterbacks for us. What'd you see in the game? What'd you see throughout the spring? What are you looking forward to in the fall?
Well, I'll tell you, I like what each of them brings to the table. I mean, I think I'll start with Jay Butterfield. I like what he does from the standpoint of just understanding the decision-making that he makes. I wouldn't say, frankly, that the scrimmage was one of his better practices, but he's really been consistent throughout and making good decisions, great pocket presence. He understands what's going on the field. And I think in the long haul and consistently, that's going to really bode him well. And then you go to Ty Thompson and Bo Nix, two very athletic quarterbacks, a little different, from a size standpoint and what they do. Bo Nix, I think, a big game experience, number one, probably the most athletic of the three, even though I think Ty Thompson's very athletic. He's just a little faster, maybe more of a run threat, is very dangerous outside the pocket. So you get that run pass threat if you can move things around a little bit with him, which I expect they probably will eventually. I like what he did and how he played throughout the scrimmage and throughout spring. And then with Ty Thompson, with that rocket arm that he has, and the pocket presence, and the 6'3", 6'4", 220, 225, and how he's developed physically and from a mental standpoint. I mean, he's learning a new offense. That's what makes it a little bit tougher for him versus Bo Nix, who's a little bit familiar with Kenny Dillingham and the way that things happen. It's going to be a battle right down to the end between those guys, and I like what they all bring to the table. But, big game number one, whoever it is, has to be ready.
Yeah. And that's why there's going to be competition in the fall, right? You want that heading into the fall for a lot of different positions. Jorgie joining us. I'm curious, too, Jorgie, your perspective on the pass catchers. You mentioned the explosive nature of the offense, getting guys in space. Really saw that in the spring game, and we've seen that really throughout the course of the spring.
Yeah, you did. I mean, you got a chance to see, Seven McGee and Dante Thornton with big plays, each of them with a 70-yard TD catch or 70-yard catches in that game. Seven McGee's was the first play of the game that got him down into the red zone, and eventually that touchdown catch that he had. But, you look at Chase Cota and what he was able to show at that spring game, and I'm glad people got a chance to see Chase Cota. At UCLA, he was a steady Freddy guy, but yeah, right? He was a steady Freddy guy, but never really featured and kind of quiet and went about his business. Man, he is solid in every aspect of the game, let alone being an older guy in the group, to be able to teach those guys and show them what it's about to play that position. Consistent, knows what to do, Troy Franklin, and then you go to the tight end group if you want to talk about the receivers, pretty good group there too. So I think a very, very talented group, deep. You got all size of players, too. That's what I like about it with Hudson and Thornton. I mean, you're going from 6'4" to 5'10". You're going from quicks and fast to long striders. I mean, you got it all right there. And I think whoever wins that quarterback position, you got to be pretty happy about the group he's thrown to.
You always talk about Jorgie winning in the trenches, and I feel like the offensive line, we know what most of that position group looks like, kind of a proven commodity. What's your breakdown of the offensive line as we head into the fall?
Well, the experience factor is going to be huge because I think they're deep in experience, particularly the first line of guys that are coming to the table. And so just the fact that they know each other so well, again, different offense, but at the same time, the communication is 3/4 of the battle at that offensive line. Being physically fit and being physically strong and being able to get after guys obviously is very important. But when you've got a guy like Forsythe at the center position that makes the calls when he comes to the line of scrimmage and frankly doesn't sometimes even have to make a call because everybody is on the same page as to what they're doing. That to me, Joey, is the most important aspect of that offensive line is you're not talking about 4 out of 5 new guys. You're talking about 4 out of 5 guys for the most part that have played a ton of football now. And again, it'd really be an important factor in that very first game, the early season, really setting the tone and then developing those guys in behind them.
Mike Jorgensen, we're talking with Jorgie. It's a multi-show appearance for Jorgie, talking a little bit of football. We'll have the rest of our conversation with Jorgie likely on the show tomorrow because Eric Rodell, Deputy Athletic Director, is going to join us. Also, Melissa Lombardi, Oregon softball head coach. It's a weird week in that baseball has 2 midweekers. We're traveling Thursday. Jordan's going to be doing the show on Thursday and Friday. Baseball Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Arizona State. And throughout that entire time, softball doesn't have anything until Selection Sunday for softball. It's such a weird scheduling quirk. I understand that everybody has to go through it. It's like, I think it was Arizona State last year that had this happen to them, and it just feels weird, and especially for a team that is peaking at the right time. It feels like they've won 5 of their last 6. You don't want to take a weekend off? So I'm curious what Coach Lombardi decides to do. I'm actually really fascinated by what she decides to do. We're going to get time out. When we come back, we'll get into what is a pretty special round, it appears, for Oregon women's golf. We'll talk about that when we return to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can step, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can step, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Jordan Brenner rejoining us because, well, you're the resident women's golf expert since you last saw them play live.
I don't know if I'd go nearly that far. I was just enjoying myself and watching some golf at Eugene Country Club in brutal conditions, and they were dominant.
Boy, it was, though. And it's interesting, though, because I've talked with Monica Vaughn about this, Oregon women's golf assistant coach, who won a national title as an individual at Arizona State. And she has said, like, hey, it's a benefit that I grew up playing in these conditions because I felt like in postseason I could go play anywhere and be successful.
And even when you say that, though, that weekend was such an outlier. And I say this because I don't think we'd be giving this team enough credit if we were saying that was normal Eugene conditions and that was a home course advantage. No. That was 30-mile-an-hour wind, 20, 30-mile-an-hour wind. They were mopping the greens because they were so wet. They were playing in pouring rain, and even with all that adversity, they overcame it.
So here's where it ended after round 1 today in Albuquerque. Oregon 4 under as a team, first place. Florida finished even, and Texas finished at 1 under. TCU.
You said Florida's in second at even.
So actually, Texas is in second at 1 under. I said Florida because Florida is the 11th ranked team in the nation, and Texas, the 13th ranked team in the nation, actually finished 1 shot better than them today. TCU and Georgia finished tied for 4th at 4 over. Arizona was 5 over in 6th place. And then Louisville 7 over, North Texas 8 over, Oklahoma 11 over, New Mexico State and Sam Houston 14 over. Northern Arizona, 21 over. Remember, the top 4 teams from the regional at the end of the third round advance to the national championship. Oregon shot 4 under. Not bad. Individual leaderboard. The Ducks, looks like Brianna Chacon ended up winning it by 3 shots.
Well, it was a course record for her today, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was. So she ended up winning by 3 shots. The next closest Duck would be Cynthia Liu, who finished at 1 under. So 6 strokes back of Brianna Chacon, and she finished tied for 8th. Elsewhere for Oregon, Sophie Kipsgaard-Nielsen finished tied for 17th at 1 over. Then Heather Lin finished 3 over, tied for 34th. And Qingsu Chen finished 3 over, tied for 34th for the Ducks. Did I miss anybody? That was everybody. Not bad, huh?
Pretty good.
We'll take it.
They're rolling.
You're a golfer.
Yeah.
What are the odds that we can send you to the national championship?
Well, that I'm there. I'm free. Let me check. Yeah, I'm free.
You're free. Okay.
So that's in your court now, I think.
Well, we might have to. We might have to look at that.
Bring some equipment. I could practice my golf
commentary. I wonder if we
commentary.
could get broadcast rights to when it's not on Golf Channel.
Here's my friend Lundquist. Chacon for the birdie.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we're onto something here.
Yeah.
How does, so the Masters is always on the radio.
Yeah.
How's your golf radio play-by-play chops? Because I've never done it before.
Well, I honestly listened to Masters radio for the first time this year.
Did you really?
It was Mike Tirico, and it was really excellent. Well, he's always good at play-by-play, but he described every inch from contact to the hole, which is pretty exciting.
How do you do that in golf?
He was talking about the ball twirling. He was talking about the wind and the slope, and here it comes. Now 5 feet from the hole, 2 feet from the hole, and it drops for that's how he would do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we just had you walk around with an iPhone on a gimbal and a headset.
I'm doing this, yes.
I mean, did we just discover the next level of covering collegiate golf?
I think we did. We have you back in studio.
Yeah, just looking at the board.
The board, you're giving the updates, and then I'm following. I think we probably need one more, but I can follow.
You're probably like featured group, right?
Yeah, I'd probably follow. I could probably walk with the leaders the last few holes, and I could give you the commentary describing all of their shots. And then we need one more. Maybe Terry's for you.
I was going to say Terry Johns is.
Terry was out there watching them too.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Well, we did not have any idea that was going to come up today, but we might be onto something. We might have to do a little bit of digging. Jordan and I'll have the call for baseball tomorrow. On tomorrow's show, we've got Athletic Director Tuesday. We'll also hear a little bit more from Jorgie. Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America.